Hello, welcome to Lackluster Reactions. I'm your Lackluster Reactor. Today for my review of the second season, / second half of the first season, of Spy X Family. We all already know I love this show, but let's take a moment for me to put that love into, well, my feeble attempt to speak words, shall we? There's going to be two clear halves to this video. First, character progression. I'll look at how the characters have grown since the end of the last season, and mostly talk about it by character. The second, story arcs. We have had more episodes which were broken into two halves, more comedic short style format, but we have two large story arcs which need to be mentioned. So, let's break it down. First, the big man himself, Twilight. The man who can do anything, the greatest spy. However, we see two clear moments where the man who hides his everything opens up to those around him. The first was after Frankie, our dear, beloved Scruffy, was rejected. Despite his insistence they were not actually friends, he was there to act as the shoulder the poor boy could cry on. It was something he did not need to do. Frankie already knows he's a spy, so it was not to keep up appearances. He was generally there for his buddy when he was in need, which, considering how many people he has likely needed to cut out of his life, that's a big step. The second was while confronting Yor during her moment of her jealousy. As I noted in my video, the man told the truth about his past directly to Yor. Do you know how deadly even a small tidbit like that can be for a man like Twilight? The wrong person gets that information, and everyone he cares for is in danger. But one of those people is now Yor. And despite suspecting her last season, he opened up to her and shared a bit of his past. That is no small feat. It is nice to see our uptight hero starting to trust the people around him to be more than just pawns he would need to throw away when he completes his mission, even when he insists that is still his mindset. Then we have Anya. What progress has she made with Stella? None this half. But patience. We have only had one midterm so far. But while she is not going to be top of her class anytime soon, we have seen noticeable growth with Anya. Namely, she did not fail the midterms. For a girl who hates studying, who had absolutely bombed everything to that point, she knuckled up and proved herself, even if it was a barely passing grade. Doubly so since it was after she was stumped on the bomb because she did not know enough to do anything. While she still has a long way to go ahead of her, she has proven more than capable enough to grow. It's not going to be a quick stellar collection like Handler wants, but Anya has what it takes to graduate to school, if not become an Imperial Scholar before then. And as for Plan B, well, no progress on Anya's side of that one. We do get to see her strengths, even if both the paper animals and cheering up Damien in the latest episode were both accidents. Once she figures out how to show empathy, she will be an emotional powerhouse. When would that be? Honestly, hopefully not anytime soon. As much as I praise character growth, Anya is an incompetent little cutie, and I look forward to seeing her bubbling around just a little while longer. And last but not least, or at least in my heart, is Yor. Yor has been given the least amount of screen time of the three again, but we did see her walking her own path, and I would say at about the same pace as the others have. I would like a little more highlights on a family wife, but we have to see what comes. But either way, After agonizing over her worth as a housewife for the first half, she takes concrete steps in order to improve herself, learning how to cook one meal, which does not instantly knock out a person who consumes it. Unless, of course, that person's name is Yuri. No Yuri section this time. We only had a few support appearances this time. Either way, Yuri fought against her insecurities and mostly learned to keep them under control. And what eventually drew out the insecurities again was not her messing something up or not thinking herself good enough, but it was a rival, a shining star working to make her doubt herself. But she did not just bow out like she might have done before. Sure, she became depressive and hit the ball a bit, but she fought against Nightfall head-on, and won, I might add. And then, when she was certain Twilight was going to cast her aside for the better woman, which I should mention Nightfall is not, by the way, but we'll get to her much later. Yor did not run away like she might have previously, but instead stayed there and acted not as a coward who was giving up on herself, but a jealous woman who is scared she does not match up, but who still does not want to let go of what she has. We no longer need to see Yor worrying about being the mother of the Fudger family because she is. She just needs a reminder every now and then that she is worthy of being happy. And finally, the fourth and newest member of the Fudger family. I would like to say many things about Bond, but he is a dog. A good dog and a great addition to the cast. But the fact he's an animal gives him a limited ability to act beyond the visual, plus what Anya can get out of him through mind reading. But with enhanced intelligence, he is right there in the area where his intelligence is likely on par with a 4-year-old, making him not only the perfect companion for Anya, but also more like a brother to her. I look forward to the next time Anya and Bond go out on a mission. Now on to the more side characters. We have the obligatory section on Frankie, our beloved Scruffy. He only showed up a few segments this season, but all his appearances were great, and gave credence to my prediction. His main purpose is to be the foil who never grows. What did we have in total for him again? There was the segment close to the end of the season where he was babysitting Anya while Twilight was talking to Yor, as well as 2 segments where he struck out of women. Poor guy, but will it be enough for him to learn his lesson? I certainly hope not. We need our Scruffy to continue being the lovable loser as the story continues on. It is the only way. And then there's Damien. He's still in side character status for now, but hopefully he gets bumped up where he deserves. And speaking of what he deserves, I believe I did for Anya, so I will do it for him too. Congratulations, Damien, for getting your first Stella. He still has a few Stella and hopefully a few bolts to go before he succeeds in meeting with his father. But he is on the road and has shown he is more than capable of achieving it. And in the traditional way. Sorry, Anya. But personal achievement is only one measure of growth, is it not? So, how is the poor fool doing with his crush? I mean, it's definitely not getting any better, but we did have a few sweet moments between the two of them. First, the time Henri ruined the image he had for what he was going to make his paper sculpture of. But art is not supposed to be perfect. And he achieved a reward not from perfection, but from imperfection reached with the help of the misguided Anya's mistakes. And second, when he was going to give up on seeing his father, Anya, even if she did not mean to, gave him the courage to stand up and confront his father head on. Sure, Donovan was a brick wall about it the entire time, but the point was, Damien did it. While he is not ready to admit it yet, Anya is a great influence on him. and Plan B is going much more successfully than Twilight or Anya could ever dream. Then we have some ground solid with Becky. She has been a decent support for Anya since her first appearance, but we have had some growth with her in the last half, which will make her more interesting as things continue on. First, we have her that she now has a crush on Twilight, which is more comedic than anything, but I certainly look forward to the plot actually blossoming. Poor Twilight. Second, we have gotten a look at how she was before meeting Anya, being a spoiled brat who thought she was better than everyone else and pushing them away. And Anya responded by being her friend and doing nice things to her, not for some ulterior motive, but because of how nice Becky is to her. Again, the longer Operation Strix goes on, the more opportunity we will have to see Becky and Anya's friendship grow. And I now care about that about as much as Anya's relationship with Damien. Sorry, shippers. And one final name we have to list, Donovan Desmond. We had the man for one episode. We had the first meeting with the enemy, and he gave our master spy nothing. I know I said that repeatedly, but I need to overstate it. He was completely non-committal, showing no strong emotions in any direction, and even brushed over comments directed towards his son. Looking at everything, he could be anything from a loving dad trying to distance himself from his son to protect him as he goes into this dangerous world of politics and international espionage. Or he could just be a complete piece of crap. We're going to need more chances and Twilight at his best if we are ever going to see a single crack in that facade of his. That is the battle that I am looking forward to seeing. So, with all the characters out of the way, and again, the prefix that I loved this season overall, let me give my impressions on the two big story arcs we had. First, the bomb arc. Overall, the bomb arc's main focus was to add the fourth member to our family, giving Anya a reason to run into someone else with supernatural powers she could meet up with and quickly become a team with. First, I enjoy seeing the various parts of the setup. Second, we were given an actual explanation on where Bond's powers come from. I know we've had hints about Anya being a human experiment, but here we actually have it laid out that he was, and what actually they were trying to do with the dogs. Next, I like how we see Bond's powers as not an all-powerful win button, but a way to set up plots. The future vision allowed Anya and Bond to escape the first time, but it did not save them when they got caught again. It also allowed Anya to know that there was trouble, so she sprung into action in order to save the day. But it also does not directly give the 4-year-old a way to solve the problems herself. Overall, a positive plot device which I hope will be the impetus of many adventures for the two. But speaking of Anya not getting instant win power, we see Anya both help and struggle in this arc. She instantly jumps at the chance to play hero, as expected of her character, and she does end up tipping Twilight off about the bomb. However, this is also the time Anya begins to acknowledge some of her limits, with her acknowledging she could have done more if she could tell time or knew how to disarm the bomb, or really if she could have clearly written a warning about the bomb instead of relying on pictographs. I have talked a lot about character growth when talking about the show. In this incident's more important, lasting effect is giving Anya a reason to grow. She knows she's weak. Now she can get stronger. And speaking of strength, great showings by Yor and Twilight. Yor, as usual, beat up the people harassing Anya, and dealt the final blow to the terrorists, which is always good to see, even if I always want more Yor. Twilight as well showed perfectly why he's the master spy, throwing the terrorists into a trap and then taking out the dog and the bomb without anyone or thing getting killed. All he was missing was taking out the final terrorist himself, but he shined plenty. Overall, it was a strong arc. But then we had the tennis arc. Overall, it was 3 episodes, 4 if you count your being jealous, which I know I totally do, even if the actual tennis part was only 2. The mission was a bust, but I called that as we were going in, so it was not a surprise at all. That was not what I enjoyed the most about this arc, though I guess the actual tennis would be a good place to start. The first 2 matches were nothing, as our 2 spies blew through them relatively fast. But then the final round, where they had to deal with the cheating. So they did. And so the opponents had to cheat harder, and harder, and harder, till at the end the 2 super spies were dancing around the tennis court, hitting back the balls while dodging rubber bullets from all directions in an impressive display. The second greatest moment in the arc, and the second greatest in the episode it happened in. Props also goes to our guest of honor, Nightfall. When she first appeared, I was certain she was going to be more than the brick wall that she appeared to be. But I was as surprised as Anya when she came out with the "I love you." As a foil and rival, she was excellent, incredibly competent, but with no idea how to have the softness Anya needs with as a parent. And she was even worse than Twilight ever was in that matter. She has the obsession, she has the drive, she has the power, but she does not have the abilities needed to make Operation Strix or the Forger family work. No, she just functions as a foil. And not to Twilight, but to Yor. I have already said how much I love Yor, and I've already talked to this season's character growth. So let me just fanboy over how great the duel between Yor and Nightfall was. Was it pointless because the match was not going to sway Twilight either way? And because he was not going to abandon Yor? Yes. Was it still great to see Yor worrying about not measuring up, not being good enough, putting it all into a single serve to prove she deserved to be the wife of the Forger family? And then needing to do it as soft a second time because she sliced the ball into pieces? And still having the meteorite serve, which Nightfall was good enough to hit, but no force on Earth is good enough to return? With how much Yor can be down on herself, it's great to see her get an irretrievable win. Overall, it was another great season of Spy X Family. Doing a quick chapter check, I believe we are only about a dozen chapters behind the manga now. Too few to expect another season anytime soon. But if that is how it has to be, I'm willing to wait. After all, whatever season the Forger family comes back in, I can already tell you it is going to be one of the best seasons of that year. But either way, that's it for today. Take care, everyone.